I went to University of Waterloo. I went to University of Waterloo because in high school I was good at math, and Waterloo has a good math program. And in fact, my dad was one of the earliest math profs at University of Waterloo, and he was a math professor, and he was associate dean of math at the time. So because I was good in math, and because he was there and helped sort of build that school, there wasn't really any choice about where I would go to school. That's a good question. I think I'd always assumed that I would go to university rather than college. Again, probably because of my dad, and thinking that I would go to University of Waterloo for math. So I think that's probably why I would go in that direction. I would say it's a pretty big change this goes back a long way for me, a long time ago. And we used to go to grade 13, not to grade 12. So I was a year older than you'll be when you go on to college or university or whatever. But it was a big change just in terms of the amount that you were expected to do on your own, rather than what you had to go to class in high school, and they took attendance and all that sort of stuff and called your parents if you weren't there. At university, no one cares. You could go to no classes at all, and no one's calling to make sure that you're there or anything like that. So it's really up to you how you manage your time, and there's a lot more time that's spent outside of class. You only have a certain number of hours of classes in university compared to high school, and so a lot more time where you're doing assignments, or doing, working with friends, trying to figure out assignments and studying and doing lots of other stuff too. So, more freedom, I guess, but also more responsibility. To try and figure out what it is that's important to you. And so for some people, it's like, I want to earn a lot of money. Or for other people, it's, I want to make the world a better place. And so, thinking through that, I think can help lead you maybe in one direction or another. And just talking to people who are in that area that you might be interested in, like whether it's like a physiotherapist or a sports, something in the sports area, or an actuary, or computer science, or whatever, accountant, lawyer. I think just talking to people about what it's like, and that can help you decide if that might be something you'll be interested in longer term. I went to, within the math faculty, I went through a program called Actuarial Science. In my program, so Actuarial Science is a fairly specific program, and actuaries work for insurance companies and pension plans, and there's a lot of work around statistics and analytics and business understanding, and the whole area of study is trying to be able to look at what might happen in the future, depending on what happens with the economy, what happens, are people living longer? Are they getting sick? Or it could be, are there weather events coming, or different things like that. So it's trying to figure out about the future uncertainties and to try and help people understand what could happen. And so learned a lot about statistics and economics and different things like that. Now that's an interesting question. So I'd mentioned that my dad was a math professor, and at the time when I was a kid, we take for granted computers today, but actually computers when I was a kid were just fairly new in terms of having a computer in your home. And we were one of the early families that actually had a computer in our home. And my dad was trying to get me interested in computer science and going into that as a field. And so I worked a lot on the computer when I was in high school. Things haven't changed. I did most of the time playing games and stuff, but I was also sort of learning how the games were created and trying to make my own games. And so my plan was to go into computer science, but I had a friend who also wanted to go into math, but he did not want to go into computer science. He didn't want to sit at a computer all day and that kind of thing. And so my dad arranged for us to go see an actuarial science professor and understand kind of what that would be like. And so he and I both decided kind of on the spot, despite all these years of thinking I was going to go into computer science, I just changed my mind and we both went into actuarial science instead. It's funny, the small little decisions that sort of take you down a different path than you thought you'd go down. I would recommend my program. I think it's been a great career for me. I think, for any, looking back on sort of what I really liked is, I did go through a co-op program as part of my program. And I think that's really important because you actually get to test out your career before you're done writing. And there were lots of people who would start in a program like Actuarial Science or other programs, and you got to go out and work in that field, and you go, this isn't what I thought it would be. This isn't for me, kind of thing. And then you can change your mind and try something different before you've actually gone all the way through your degree, and it's a lot more painful at that point to change and go back into something different. So I think when I look back at my program, it's allowed me to go in to work for a company that I believe in terms of how it helps people. And I think when you think about when you go into work in the future, I think a lot of people are happier when they work for a company or in a field where you feel like you're making a difference for people and making the world a better place, and that kind of thing. So I think I feel like there's a good connection between the program and being able to help people. And I think, like any job, you end up really liking the people that you work with, and I found great friends and great people to work with through this career. So So, and it's challenging. So, and that's something that's important to me, sort of intellectually challenging. So I like that part about it too. So it's been a great career for a bunch of those reasons. So I went through actuarial science to become an actuary. So that's my career is as an actuary, and there's actually the degree or the university course sort of teaches you the basics, but you also have to complete some professional examinations outside of university. And so, the university helped prepare to pass the professional exams and then become an actuary. And in terms of getting a job, it wasn't hard because of the co-op, and I was able to work for the company that I'm still with through the co-op, and had a great experience and really liked it, and I guess impressed them enough that they offered me a job at the end. So that was good through the co-op system. And then actually becoming an actuary, I'd mentioned the professional exams. They're really hard exams to get through, and it takes people sometimes a long time to complete those, and it's a lot of studying, in addition to school, another. So that part was hard, doing those exams in addition. But the job part was fairly easy because the degree and the co-op sort of linked directly to jobs, and at the time there were jobs available in that field, so that worked out well for me. I do like it. Yeah, I do like it, and it can be stressful at times, for sure, depending on sort of what you're working on and what you're doing. But I think it's also, I find it just rewarding, like the challenge and working through problems with other people who are also, motivated to solve problems and that type of thing.